Your website has now been updated. So Roselillies, well, they're here. And then late winter starting with a list is just here. And then underneath you've got your Anemone Ranunculus and Butterfly Ranunculus here. And then the greenhouse updates, well, they're just here. So you can see I have made a start. I've counted out the ranunculus culms that I would like to sow tomorrow into their bowls, but I'm not going to soak them until the morning. They only take a few hours. So I'll get up in the morning, before I have my cup of tea, I will fill these bowls up with water. The anemones, however, take longer to rehydrate. So I'm going to take the empty bowls and the packets into the house. And then tonight before I go to bed, I will put the anemones in to soak. And then tomorrow about lunchtime, everything should be rehydrated and ready to start at the same time. Now been about 2.5 hours, and it always surprises me just quite how much they swell up once they've been soaked in water and rehydrated. No matter how fragile they were when they first went in, they really plump up very well indeed. So back to the real-time grow along, and you can see that I have now drained all of my culms, and I'm going to trot down to the greenhouse now and sort out my vermiculite. It's a bit messy, isn't it? So I won't do that in the house, but then I'll bring the bags up to the house to pre-sprout. Vermiculite is just so much easier at this time of the year, and then you don't have 15 cell trays in your house, because don't start them in the greenhouse because they won't wake up. I wouldn't. I wouldn't wake up in that cold, would you? So they need to be started indoors in the warm, and the vermiculite bags just take up so much less room for me because they're going to take 2 weeks. Take about 2 weeks to sprout. By that time the weather will have changed. It's changing already. I can see it on the forecast. And here you can see I have made a start on my snapdragons, and here look, I've cheated. So I've got one tray here. So I put one variety this side and another variety this side, and then a bit of a no man's land in the middle. So on the label, it actually says which is which. I've written on both sides of the label, so I know which side is which. And it just means that I can share even a quarter cell tray. I'll put a lid on that in a moment, and then that can go on the kitchen windowsill. The lid just stops them from drying out in the warm, dry environment of the house. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. So I've got an old container that we buy the fat balls for the birds in, and I've used some water from the kettle, so I didn't fancy having freezing hands with the watering can. And then look, I can mix it all up, and then once it's perfect, I can put the culms in, and it's warm. It's not freezing. Oh, that's lovely. I think I need a little bit more water. Anyway, I thought I'll just give you that tip. Otherwise, I could just see you freezing your hands off in the greenhouse. There we go. There's my bags ready to go up to the house, and look, you can see it is a little bit messy. So I might put mine in a cardboard box and then put them up in the house. And it was quite funny. Some of this vermiculite I reused from October. Some of the stuff that just came out with my hands. And what did I find? 2 culms still fast asleep in the vermiculite. So that tells you that if they're not moist enough and they're not warm enough, they will not wake up. They're absolutely fine, they're still alive, but they didn't wake up all winter because they were snuggled up in dry vermiculite. Go nice and neat. Now I have got some more to do, but this is all I could manage today. So just do in batches, there's no need to rush. A couple of days won't make any difference whatsoever. And every now and again, I will just check the bags are still damp, and I will turn the culms just to make sure, because otherwise the water tends to drop to the bottom. So every now and again, I'll just turn the bag over and make sure everyone's covered. But don't expect much to happen for at least 10 days. It's usually about 2 weeks before you start to see the shooting, but we will keep an eye on them together. We're going to dip a nice big hole into the compost, take our first culm and place him in legs down.